Today, I'm inspired in my defiance by the fact that there are even some Republicans who are calling for investigations of Pete Hegseth. Our defense secretary has engaged in war crimes, and the accusations of that and the proof that everyone can see is certainly something that even Republicans cannot ignore. In September, Pete Hegseth ordered a double strike, or double tap attack, upon these boats off the coast of Venezuela. The theorized reason for this attack was to protect the United States from narco-terrorism. And Pete Hegseth has hedged his bets as much as he possibly can on these accusations. First, he said that he had every right to order this kind of strike. Next, he blamed it on an admiral who he said had his full support in doing this kind of attack. And finally, he said he didn't stick around in order to watch the second attack that killed these people clinging to a boat in the water. The one thing that no one is doubting is that attacking someone who is clinging for their life to a boat is a threat to anyone. Pete Hegseth didn't want survivors because he wants it to be black and white. He wants everything to be war. That's why he tried to rename the Defense Department to the Department of War. He doesn't have room for nuance. He doesn't have room for humanity. He doesn't even have room for anyone that is not his version of an American warrior with the warrior ethos. But what is clear is that he is afraid that he is going to actually have consequences for his actions. So he is trying to say that they were okay, that someone else is responsible for them, or that they weren't even his actions to begin with. Frankly, he sounds like one of my kids who, when they get caught in doing something, will occasionally try and deflect, try and make it so that it's someone else's fault, or try and do anything possible to not have to take responsibility for their own actions. Now let's be clear. His initial strike was also illegal. We are not at war with Venezuela. Congress has not given their permission to be at war with Venezuela. You cannot conduct this kind of extrajudicial killing. And the only reason why Republicans are now calling for these investigations is they see how weak this administration is. People do not want to see a war being conducted in their names for nothing, for the oil in Venezuela. And I want to speak for just a moment about this warrior ethos, this idea that war is somehow a strength, that all of the military might should be used in order to attack others. The reason why war is a last resort is because we know what the consequences of war are. We know how many refugees it creates. We know how many families it destroys. And we should not rush into creating those kinds of environments around the world. It's the reason why the vast majority of NATO deployments are peacekeeping missions. It's the reason why the United Nations exists. It's the reason why war crime tribunals have been instituted and have convicted many people of war crimes in international conflicts. And for us to get involved and engaged in this kind of conflict right now shows just how weak we have become, where we have to show our strength by attacking others rather than by creating environments for peace, by creating stability around the world, by creating consistency or confidence in economic situations, by preserving and pursuing human rights around the world as we have done for decades. We have backed off of all of that. And now we have a Department of War that is interested in pursuing war crimes and calling them anything but. But this shows just how weak this administration is, because they don't have the backing of the people. And as long as we are able to speak out about it, we are going to be able to call them on it. We are going to be able to advocate for these kinds of investigations and hopefully, at the end of the day, convictions for the war crimes that they are. I'm also inspired in my defiance today by the fact that Donald Trump has specifically ordered strike teams to go into Minnesota and target the Somali population there. Almost without reason, he is targeting this population even though the majority of them are US citizens and even more so have been born in the United States. It is clear that this is a racist action. Donald Trump is targeting a community of refugees, of immigrants, and of US citizens. He is targeting them because they are not white. And we have to call it for what it is. As many of the officials from Minnesota have said, these community members add a significant amount of both money and of culture to the community within Minnesota. They are job creators, they are community leaders, they are mothers and fathers and families. And they deserve to have just as much support from their government as anyone else. When a sitting president calls a community garbage and orders strike teams to go into these neighborhoods, he is doing something wrong and fundamentally un-American. We are a nation of immigrants, and we are a nation of compassion and care. He is not enforcing policy. He is trying to ethnically cleanse Minnesota. He is attempting to disappear people, to ship them out of the country with no recourse, and he is declaring war on a community that deserves our support. When you have to dehumanize others in order to bring your supporters together, you have lost the argument. And we have to stand up for those in our community who are being targeted by this administration. There are no garbage people. Every human life is precious, and to say otherwise is wrong. This is one of the first steps towards atrocity, and we have to stand in the way of that. I commend the officials in Minnesota who are doing so right now, and I condemn everyone who believes that this is the right course of action to solve for immigration or to create the kind of future that we all deserve. If you've made it this far in the video, you've clearly found something you've liked or hated enough to watch to the end. Please do leave a comment and let me know which is which. You can also like or subscribe if that feels good to you. But I'll be here as often as I can, inspired in my defiance and by my reality. And I hope you will be too.